Whether you're a lifelong keeper or just getting started, help us encourage responsible keeping, conservation, and public education in the interest of keeping our reptiles safe and healthy as we protect them for future generations. You're invited to spend time with us as we experience these awesome animals together on Intrepid Exotics. Hey, look at that. I was beginning to wonder if I was going to get everything done in time. It looks like we made it just in the nick of time. Let's see. Oh, before I forget, they've got Tinley going on right now. I'd love to have been out there for that one. Looks like they got all the cool kids hanging out there this weekend. I think there's a USARK auction going on right now down there. So hopefully USARK does really well. Of course, you guys know we go over that stuff every week, and USARK has been kicking tail and taking names. And if anybody down there is watching this in Tinley, everybody come off them wallets and help USARK out, because they have done a lot for us already this year. Really grateful to Phil and Jeremy and Vanessa and everybody out there that's really been putting in the work to get that stuff done. So anyway, let's see. We'll run through here and see who all's on. Brandon is with us. Good evening, sir. Sam, I'm here. That's kind of important. Hey, Bearded Snake is in. Slow is in. Theo, good to see you. Mr. Hill, long time no see, man. Hope you've been doing okay. Davina's with us. Jessica is here. And just so you guys know, Jessica is making Charlie, our boa imperator, famous. She's been doing some PR stuff for the animal rescue that she runs, and they just happened to use a picture of her with Charlie. And we know how Christina, genetics nerd down here, we know how she feels about Charlie. That's her bestest buddy. Pop, how are you? Love the bear. Hey, North Carolina Exotics is here. Quest, Rebel Gaming. That's what I was doing today, too. I decided to take a mental health break and spend some time on a new survival game, Nightingale. It's turning out to be really cool, actually. Hey, there's Christina. How are you doing, friend? Hope you guys are doing well. Cool. Yep. You know this. We've always got the coffee. It was on a live stream on Sea of Serpents a couple nights ago. And yeah, they were going nuts. One of the other guys on the panel actually went right on Amazon and bought this coffee cup as soon as he saw it. I need to get something like this and make it myself and market it. See if we can finance some enclosures with it or something like that. So, who else we got? Let's talk. Herps is in the house. Good to see you. I think her showing. Oh, that's cool. Davina says she's vending the Herps show in Texas this weekend. And yes, USARK is the absolute best. Make no mistake. Critter Extreme, how you doing? Oh, cool. Yeah, there's not too many feelings better than finally having that thing done and pushing it off. Sometimes the contentment of just knowing you're done with it, you're like, you know what? I don't even care what anybody thinks about it. It's out there. We did our best. Let's see what they say. Megan is in. Good to see you. Leo. Happy Dragon Reptiles. I like that picture. It looks like elephant eye to me. I could be wrong. If it's different, let me know. I'm curious. Kubule. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly. And I'm curious where that name came from. You'll have to drop down in the comments. Hey, John is here. Good to see you. Hey, yeah, I appreciate that, man. Sometimes that stuff doesn't go over very well with everybody, but facts are the facts, man. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get Charlie back out again this summer. I had an opportunity to get everybody outside the other day, which I was really okay. So, for those of you guys that don't know, Christina here and Jessica here both go out and do educational events with us, typically at the same time. And Charlie is Charlie's kind of a gigolo. He gets all the girls and makes no bones about it. I haven't played Pal World yet, but Nightingale is really cool. As far as survival games go, it is most of the time you can go in there and kind of max everything out pretty quickly. This one right here is really involved. They put a lot of effort into a lot of nuance in it. So it's pretty cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, for those of you guys that aren't familiar, Sea of Serpents, Stan out there. There's a lot of ball python folks that have got podcasts that they'll do. Keys Constrictors is probably about the biggest one out there. That every Friday night he does a big panel where they're all showing their ball pythons and stuff like that. A lot of good folks, a lot of good ball python breeders, and they go into a lot of detail on morphs and stuff like that. So if you guys have got any interest in ball python morphs and things, Keys Constrictors is a great place to go on that stuff. He actually sailed right by me. I mean, it was a few thousand subs below me not too long ago, and he shot up to about 16,000 already because he's really active on there, and they're always doing stuff. So it's good to see. Good to see. Jen is with us. Oh, let's see. You've been in a paper vortex. I can relate to those. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. That's cool. He said that picture and his avatar there is a human hybrid picture. So that's really cool. Alex is here. Good to see both. Yes, Charlie is a stud. Laura's with us tonight. See, I think I might. Ooh. Hey, Chris, good to see you, man. Oh, I know the deal. Life keeps us hopping, man. Sometimes it's all I can do to just barely get my butt over here on time. But we're all caught up on the comments, man. Let's look at, since of course we do this, get this out of the way because there's no new news. This is really, this is what I like to see. Dun-dun-dun-dun. USARK, check this out. Nothing's changed. Looking down through here, again, for those of you guys that are here that may be new, USARK is the biggest organization that works for the rights of reptile keepers. We definitely encourage anybody, if you have any kind of animal at all, or if you even enjoy seeing the content with these animals and stuff like that and just looking at what people are doing with them, definitely recommend supporting these guys. You can get on the basic memberships, like a bronze membership's like $40 a year. It's not a lot at all. You get a cool t-shirt and you get to add to the numbers and make these guys capable of continuing to kick ass on legislation like they have been doing. You will see this a lot, like this Arizona warrantless animal seizure alert. Go 3 lines down. It was tabled and held with no vote due to overwhelming public opposition. that is pretty much the same for Arizona and Colorado. South Carolina is kind of benign. The Washington Animal Program, the ban on iguanas in Florida, and the Louisiana herp reg overhaul, all of these have been squashed. And it's all because of public opposition to these things. And one thing to keep in mind when we talk about, supporting USARK and stuff like that, is that when these bills get put in, they're not always a public announcement about it. Sometimes they're hiding it in legislation and they just want it to get through without nobody seeing it. And then all of a sudden you got a 16-foot retic or something at home. You didn't know the bill passed, and animal control comes out in your yard while you got it outside, writes you a ticket, confiscates your animal, and kills it. So it's very important for us as keepers to keep up with the laws that are being written, the stuff that's being proposed. And USARK does an awesome job of that. They spend so much time rifling through this stuff, catching everything, exposing it, letting everybody know what they're trying to do. And then the numbers is what matters. They need the money. They got a lot of lawyers to pay and all this other stuff. So yeah, that helps. But like we was talking about on the live stream the other day, you go in there with 100 people behind you, they are going to laugh you out of the building. You go in there with 1 million people behind you, they're going to stop what they're doing and they're going to listen to you. 1 million people can take their job pretty easily. So that's why the numbers are so important with USARK. And we definitely need to, just because things are going well, don't slack on supporting them. Supporting them is the reason why things are going well. So anyway, very important stuff. Make sure we're not sleeping on USARK, man. And I'm going to try and keep up a little bit. See, I know somebody's going to have something up here pretty soon. As soon as the USARK auction is done. I don't know how long that's supposed to run for, but I'm really curious to see how much they raise out there. Yep. Yeah, colubrids have got a lot wider range that they can be out. They're a lot more tolerant to temperature than, say a lot of our pythons and stuff like that. Chris was asking if I've gotten anything new. The latest addition that I've got is the latest one I picked up was I have an Asian water monitor here, a young one. That's one of Kevin McCurley's that I'm working with, that I'm going to be working with at least for a few months or something like that. Just to kind of make some content. I'm fairly certain I'll probably end up buying him before it's all said and done, because he's just really cool. Oh, excuse me. Really cool lizard. So I've got that, and I don't know if you had seen the Jag Pondro. I know it's been a while since I've seen you. I may have gotten a Jag Pondro since I last talked to you. And I'm not going to bring the Asian water monitor up here yet, because he will come in here and jump on everything, and the computer cables and everything will be destroyed. He's a friggin' ball of energy. But I do have a video out with him on it as well. But yeah, if you haven't seen that Jag Pondro yet, let me know and I'll go in there and wake her up. She's a pretty sweet girl. Slow says you got to check out some gators on an airboat. How well do they drive those things? That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to get some time out in the swamp here at some point. That'd be cool. Let's see. And Nicole says she lived in Florida for 6 months and haven't seen a gator. See, I can so relate to that, because I kind of get screwed when it comes to seeing wildlife. There are supposed to be rattlesnakes all over Phoenix. The whole time I lived out in Phoenix, I never saw a rattlesnake. Black bears all over Tennessee, North Carolina. Never seen one out here. Haven't spent a whole lot of time in Florida, but the little bit of time that I did spend down here, I never saw a gator. Only gator I ever saw was in southeastern North Carolina. and just barely saw this little one. We was driving by, and I just happened to catch its eyes out of the corner of my gaze. But yeah, I'm terrible at finding animals. Let's see. Titusville. So through here, Bold Coast Exotics. Good to see ya. Oh, hey, Bet. Good to see you. Yeah, Greg sent me a text earlier today. He showed me the. I don't know. I don't know if I need to be saying anything about what he got to his spouse until I confirm that he's told you first. But no, Greg's already sent some pictures and stuff from out there, man. Looks like he's having a blast. Would have loved to have been out there this year. So, what else we got? I'll make sure I'm not missing anybody. Travis, how are you doing? Hey, Me Mutter is here. Who else we got? What's this? There's a story here. No, well, you broke down 10 minutes in into the mid-voyage into the swamp, huh? Oh, man. That's a bummer. I've had a boat breakdown before, and it's really not fun having to flag somebody down saying, hey, dude, can you tow me back to the dock? You just kind of sit there and cruising across the lake. Let's see. KC Weapon, how are you doing? Has a question for the Florida people. All the berms down there, are they escaped from long ago? And let's see if I'll keep scrolling down. I'm sure somebody may have answered that. Let's see what everybody's got to say. Yeah, he got in trouble, huh? Well, I didn't want to be responsible for getting him in any more trouble. Looked like a pretty awesome monitor that he was looking at. So, yep, Quest is saying the berm situation is a result of that hurricane in the 90s. Yep. Hey, Aaron, who's that? I don't see that. You must know one of the other guys by name that I don't know. Facility only can burn. Asking if I don't know a whole lot about that. I know what I've been told by people that are familiar with it, and apparently it was a Burmese python breeding facility that got wiped out in a hurricane, released a breeding population out, and that's where it took off. I don't know what else they had there. But I would venture to guess if they had any significant breeding population of anything that could survive down in Florida, then we would be hearing about those too. So it was probably, I would guess, and I don't know this for sure, I would guess it was probably only a Burmese facility because that's the only thing that we really hear about. Florida is one of them places where, you may not start an invasive population with a released pet or something like that, but any kind of breeding population that's friendly to that environment down there will take off. So. Yep. That's what happens when you let them go to the reptile show by themselves. Oh, he didn't show me the rock python. He showed me the monitor lizard. Oh. Well, now I know. And you will hear that again. We was just watching that Key and Peele thing the other night. I think that's who it was. Oh, it's freaking hilarious. Any type of snakes down that way that are not native. Yep. Yeah, John, that's so terrible. First of all, I'm terrible with names to begin with, and I know these people that I've been talking back and forth with for years online, and only see the internet handles. So it takes a little while to put the name with the handles sometime. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything Slow was saying is interesting how that building also had retics and they didn't establish. I don't know. I mean, I would think that if there was a breeding population of retics in there, I would think retics would be able to thrive down there just the same as berms do. But I could be wrong. I wouldn't. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I'd really be curious to. I've spent a little bit of time in the past getting around online and trying to find out what the facility was, what the name of it was, who owned it, and all that stuff. And I haven't been able to find anything on it. But I thought it would be interesting to go in and get all of the details about that. Or they may have just walked across the border. Yeah. And you guys will be seeing this again too. Jessica is harboring an illegal immigrant. So we've been actually talking back and forth about this. She has got a Mexican spiny tail iguana that Iredell County had contacted her about because it easy for me to say. It hitchhiked up here on a vehicle. And so they've been trying to find a place for it. So she is going to take it in and get the enclosure set up. And we're going to see if we can't give him a good life that doesn't include getting euthanized by Fish and Wildlife. So this will be really cool. She should have a lot of fun with him. And I think it'll be a really good success story. So, all right. Sending pictures. And pictures. Okay, well, I see the monitor lizard. And, oh, okay. Oh. Nice. That's awesome. I'll put this up to the camera and see if the camera will be nice to me. See, African rock. Greg is going to be bringing home. Let me see. I'm going to show everybody the picture of the monitor lizard that you sent too, because monitors are just incredibly sexy. Where's he at? This is a good picture. Yeah, the white kind of washes out in the camera because it's showing it off the phone, but I don't remember, Greg. Do you already have any monitors at the house or not? So, see, Sam was saying somebody was telling him the other day about some African or some Burmese and some rock python hybrids. I don't know. It could be possible. I haven't heard anything about that. So, Christine's asking if I have a topic tonight. Yes, I do. What I want to go into tonight, and I'll go ahead and go through finish up going through the comments here real quick, and then we'll kind of hit it. Some of you guys may have seen the video that I put out where I kind of break down some handling and habitat mistakes from somebody that had approached me for some help with their reticulated python. And putting that video out motivated me to bring up some stuff about helping new keepers and stuff like that. So we'll definitely hit that stuff here in a minute. I could probably, if you guys, I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, last Saturday, I think I may have actually played some of that in the live stream. So you guys may be familiar with it. But there's some really good points to bring up about that I wanted to touch on. Hey, Bert, what are you doing working on a Saturday, man? Didn't you hear Bernie talking about our 32-hour work week supposed to be coming? I heard him talking about that the other day, and I'm thinking, 32-hour work week. I don't know if I like the idea of 8 hours less pay a week, but I guess I just need to find a better paying job. Gargoyle geckos are sweet. Love those. Hi, John. Have a good night, buddy. We'll probably be on for a while. I'm pretty well rested, and I got a lot of coffee. So I think it was the last thing on. Let's see. Yep. He is an illegal immigrant. Yeah, we're going to get this lizard his citizenship. We're going to start working on getting his green card real quick. Although he's not a green lizard, so maybe he's going to have to get like a gray card. So. Okay. I thought he did. Just wasn't sure. I had a mangrove monitor for a really brief period of time, but when I went through and initially did my downsizing of all my animals, he was the one that I adopted out because he was better to give to somebody else to manage than a Nile monitor was. So I kept the Nile, and I'm glad I did because he's a blast. Trying clips tonight, Saturday. Yeah, I should really start going through some of these live streams and just making shorts on them and stuff like that. The lives, they never get as much traction as the regular content does, but that's typically because I'm just going off the cuff and sitting here bumping my gums about stuff. And that's by anybody here that could answer venomous snake bite. Yeah, I mean, throw it up there. I'm sure we've got some. Sure, we've got somebody here that can add to that. So, yeah, I know if you guys saw that earlier. Niles has got this thing that he likes to do when I go in there to feed him. I'll hand the bowl over to him, and typically he's on his basking spot, and he's got a really good platform. So he just runs up, grabs it out of my hand, and moves it about a foot or two away, and then sets it down. He doesn't want me setting it down for him. I caught just a little bit of that tonight. I keep wanting to try and catch him doing that. Let's see. Emily, how are you doing? Let's see. Okay, we're all caught up on these things. So, I don't know, man. Now, it was really kind of cool because, I mean, most, if not all of the folks that hang out here on a Saturday night live streams are just, awesome folks altogether, and not the kind of people that are going to start ripping people apart. I'd actually seen a couple folks that, are regulars here kind of jump in and correct some people on their approach with these, but it kind of goes in. and after thinking about it for a couple of days, it's kind of one of those things where a selfish virtue signaling on stuff can go wrong and have the opposite of the intended effect on somebody. And the reason why I say that is because if we say, for instance, just to oversimplify and hit it really quick, and we can dig as deep and talk about anything about it, in regards to it as you guys want to. But say, for instance, if this person contacted me, had a question, I said, okay, send me a video. He sends me the video, and I immediately go, dude, you're an idiot. You should never keep snakes, and just start to berate him. He's going to tell me to go piss up a rope. And then there's no effort put in there to make that situation any better at all. And that's completely the opposite of what we want to do. When somebody contacts us asking for help with a situation, we let them know what's going on, and you got to gauge their intent before you start chopping them up. I think it's really good. Let me see if I can find this real quick, because I think this is really okay. So in regards to that same video, that same conversation, I'm not gonna call anybody out by name, but after I put that video out, he contacted me. He says, hey man, I seen the video. And he started asking me about some suggestions for enclosures and things like that. We talked about that some. And my response to him was cool beans. I can definitely help you with that when I get more time to reply. Wanted to thank you for letting this be put out there. I was like, I know some folks got harsh, but it's really an awesome opportunity to show what working with motivated folks can do to help everyone. I think you will come out of this earning a lot of respect from the community. And the response to that was, oh, don't get me wrong, I try to blow off a lot of the negative stuff and try to focus on the positive things to help better my skills as a keeper and help better the animals' lives that I keep. So what more can you ask for? How much more positive can somebody possibly be? Even with all of the things that were wrong in that, I don't know. It's just one of the things where I think people get a little bit overzealous. Some people get a lot bit overzealous and want to just start slamming people. And like I said, you don't know what somebody's intentions are, what their skill level is, and things like that, how they got into the situation that they're in to begin with. And where the virtue signaling thing comes into it. And I've got a couple of analogies for this that I'm probably going to throw out there too, because they make sense. They may make things more relatable. But if you come in and you're chopping somebody else down and getting insulting with them, essentially what you're doing is you're trying to make yourself look like you're so much more upright. And it's general. All it is meant to do is to make yourself look better, and it does absolutely nothing to address the problem. Whereas, if you've got a genuine concern for the animal and you got a genuine concern for teaching people something, the last thing you do is start to be an asshole to them. Us as more experienced keepers, we're supposed to be the ones that understand how all this stuff works and how it happens and things like that, and how people can find themselves in situations that they're uncomfortable with and things like that. So it's our job to welcome these guys in and help them get better. I'm like I said, I'm really grateful that he let me show that video the way I did. And, he just kind of blows off all the negative stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. So what can we do to fix it? It doesn't get any better than that. And like I told him when I was, telling him I appreciated him letting me share that with everybody, is that, this is one of those cases that's going to be, I really do think he's going to gain a lot of respect from the reptile community, because when this is all said and done, we can go through here. I can clip all of this stuff together and I can say, okay, guys, this is why we're nice to people, because this is what we started with. This is the progress. This is what we ended up with. This is the goal. This is what we want to achieve with everybody. And you can't achieve that with them by ripping them to pieces. Now, I know to some degree, on some topics, I get really direct on stuff. But there's a difference between attacking an idea and attacking a person. There's ideas that are pretty prevalent that I will mercilessly attack, and I will do everything I can to tear them completely apart, because, for whatever reason, the idea is based in misinformation. It's meant to be mean-spirited, harmful, something like that. I can rip that idea completely apart without once insulting the person. Unfortunately, in most of those cases, most people that spread those ideas, they're so attached to it that any attack on the idea is taken personally. So it kind of snowballs. But that's just a dynamic to keep in mind. Let me go ahead and jump through here and see what we can, before I get too far back on the comments and get too buried in soapboxing, because I don't want to do that. Let's see. I'm talking about it, Negro. I know there was a couple in here that were kind of pertinent to what we was talking about. Hash cow has. What's this one? You're saying you left a comment about all the other reptiles and animals are in Florida creating problems. You don't seem to see it. I don't know. Sometimes this stuff goes crazy. I haven't, I moderate this stuff, but I haven't really had to moderate it in a long time, because we haven't had any shitheads in here, which makes me really happy. Oh, hey, Jordy. How you doing? Oh, Bob's doing great. He's back there in his jacuzzi. So, quick turn. I know I'd missed something. Where's it at? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Bert's starting to address some of that stuff we was talking about, where he doesn't like to post on Facebook because they don't want people bashing him. He reads people's comments and try to help them out with the info. And that's what we've got to do. Kelly was saying she really appreciates all of us that get on with the advice and question and answers without judgment. Yeah, this is something where we've got to welcome people in, and everybody's got to start somehow. See, Alex is asking, it'd be okay to correct someone if they're off on something politely. Of course. And so most of the time, and it's all in your approach when you're talking about stuff like that. Probably 95% of the time I've sent somebody a message on something, they've been grateful for the approach and I was grateful for the message. And it probably had about 10 or 15 other people already try and slice and dice them over it. Yeah, it's, in my opinion, it's always best to approach somebody privately and politely on something like that. Sometimes, I don't know though, I think in the groups a lot of times too, people are starting to get accustomed to seeing corrections and calling each other out when somebody gets a little over the top. So See. All right. Awesome conversation. Clear communication, learning, and supporting each other as reptile and animal keepers is super important, and it is. It is. Okay, they're having the sidebar conversation over there about reptile bites. Jessica's got a really good advice here. If you're bitten by a snake, dial 911. Distance yourself from the snake. Do not attempt to capture or kill it. Do not drive yourself to the hospital. Yep, because there's good reasons for that too. First of all, immediately dial 911. Give them some idea where you're at, because that's just what you got to do. You don't want to try and capture the snake because maybe you took a non-lethal dose of venom, and in your attempt to capture the snake, maybe you get bit again, and that's enough to put you in the ground. So you don't want to catch it. One thing that you can do, man, is, and I tell people this all the time, your best piece of survival equipment is your cell phone. Always have something where you can keep your cell phone charged, little solar charging pack that you can throw out when you're out in the woods in case something happens. Be conscious of the fact of whether you're in a no service area and stuff like that. But what you can do is, as soon as that's, and this may sound a little bit funny because, you want to save time and stuff like that. But if as soon as you're bit, if you can grab your phone out really quick and take a picture of that snake, then get on, call 911, and they're going to keep you on the phone. They're going to try and keep you there until somebody arrives. You can text that picture to somebody to identify that snake, and that can help to ensure where they're going to take you to, make sure they got antivenom for it and stuff like that. So that's another consideration too. That's what I would do. If I was bit, I would just, chill out, do what I got to do, call 911, send them a picture of the snake if I couldn't recognize it, and hope they got the right antivenom for it. So don't drive yourself to the hospital. That's another good one. I hadn't even read to the end of that paragraph yet, but one of the most important things to do after a snake bite is to try and keep yourself calm, keep your blood pressure down. The more excited you get, the faster your heart pumps, the faster it spreads through your system. So, at that point, all you can do is just goose fraba and hope for the best after you've let somebody know. So, let's see. Yep. Keep the extremity elevated if possible. Don't tourniquet it. And don't cut it and try and suck out the venom, and you don't ice it. All good advice. They don't see tourniquets there's kind of two different sets of rules for tourniquets. Typically the most important thing in a medical situation is preserving red blood cells. So if you've got an arterial bleed, you need to throw a tourniquet on that thing ASAP. Because when you're in the field, if you lose red blood cells and you can't get enough of them put back in, you've got no oxygen carrying capacity and you're toast. But the flip side of that is you can complicate a toxic situation by having a tourniquet on an extremity. The longer that thing is on there, the toxins are going to start building up in the tissues on that limb. So what they've got to do is they've got to get you on some kind of a buffer or bicarb or something like that before they take that tourniquet off. Because once that thing comes off, that stuff's going to rush through your system. And not only are you going to have snake poison in your system or snake venom in your system now, Nobody better ever clip that snake poison thing out of there and post it anywhere else. But you all those other toxins are just going to start rushing through your system, and it can kill you. Even something where you've got like mask trousers on or something like that. If you've got a lot of injuries and your blood pressure started to bottom out, sometimes they'll put mask trousers on you to help sustain your blood pressure a little bit, and that too is going to reduce the circulation. Toxins will build up. You take those things off without doing the right things ahead of time, you can kill somebody. So tourniquets are dangerous if they're not done by somebody who knows when and where and how to mitigate the potential risks when you take them off, which is why. And again, too, this is stuff, it was 2001 when I was in medical school. So a lot of stuff changes. The way they suggest you do CPR changes. It seems like it changed every year back when I was doing that stuff. So that's just to the best of my knowledge. Recommendations and stuff may have changed since then. But yeah, tourniquets, as of the last I had heard, were not currently being advised. So let's see. Yep. Yeah, greenworm pythons is pretty good. He's a pretty cool guy. Let me go through here. Where's that? Let's see. Some places have. See, now I'm starting to get behind on the comments again because I do that from time to time. There we go, Nicole. And usually the one telling people bashing others, it's going to hurt the community, because it will. It will. Now, I'll get into some heated discussions sometimes, but it's rarely about reptiles. The reptile conversations all tend to go pretty smoothly. It's when they get out of the realm of reptiles that I've got a tendency of hurting feelings sometimes. But there's some pretty important topics in that realm as well that it takes a lot of self-control for me to not address any more seriously than I do. Biggest thing is the misinformation. Not necessarily in reptiles, because you don't really see a whole lot of it. Reptile community is pretty much on point as a whole, with how we work with each other, man. It's really good. The rest of the country could really learn something from us. People's barometer for politeness online has broken in the last 4 years. I am going to go ahead and take that one dead on. Our barometer for politeness was broken in 2016 when we got somebody up there who thought it was cool in the highest office in the world to make fun of disabled people, to spread hate and fear and lie constantly. And it gave everybody who is a mean, nasty, and toxic person license to be mean and nasty and toxic. That's one of the things that was out in one of my other videos. We need to do a lot better at maintaining some intellectual integrity in the people that we're putting in office. So, and without going off on a tangent about that. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Casey said he's currently surveying in the West Virginia mountains. Yeah, there's nothing pleasant about the West Virginia mountains. It's where Delta Force does their land navigation course at. There's a reason for that. At least it was years ago when we're at. She said the deadliest animal in the U.S. is the deer. That's true. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do know that it seems true because I know more people that have died from deers than I do from snake bites. So, yep. And Christine's bouncing off of what we were saying earlier too about the tourniquet doing more harm than good. So. COVID didn't make everybody forget that there was humans on the other side of it. Like I said, the tone of our leadership matters. And when you have a man-child in office with absolutely no moral compass whatsoever, whose entire platform is disparaging anybody else that doesn't follow his lead, like I said, that culture spreads. That's why it's very important that individual end up, if not in prison, someplace very close to it before the next term. Yeah, I've never taken a bite from a venomous snake before. The things that I've gotten hit with, the lionfish, that was really unpleasant. That kind of hurt. And Niles has gotten me pretty good a couple times, taking a couple good retic bites. There's probably something else there. And the funny thing is none of those really affected me. But if I get stung by a yellow jacket, it just tears me up. That's terrible. But yeah, going back to this guy, man, like I said, it really makes me feel good when, somebody will come up and they'll send a question or something like that. And, we start talking about it and we start working through some stuff, and you don't have to chase them down, find out what's going on, when they're proactively taking all that stuff and then going, okay, well, I need to change this, I need to change this, and I need to change that. And so I'm really looking forward to this really getting rolling with him and getting into some more handling stuff. Really excited to see that snake get all a puppy dog tame for him. Let's see, recommendations for best quarantine enclosures. 2 rescues coming. Not sure if you should leave them in a bin setup or actual quarantine enclosure. The only really recommendations that I've got for quarantine stuff is something that doesn't have substrate and stuff in it. Definitely want to have them on papers, paper towels, something like that, so that you can treat for mites, whatever. Because whatever they come in there with, you want to be able to see it. So if they've got mites and maybe there's some eggs on them or something like that you're looking out for, you're going to see those a lot easier on paper than you are if they got substrate, and it's going to be a lot easier to get rid of them. If they've got problems with, urine, feces, any of that stuff, stuff that looks really abnormal, then you'll be able to pick that up a lot easier. So. And typically plastics, you know, then regular 4-foot plastic enclosures are great to start taking one in on. So, yeah, Christina is definitely the quarantine queen. Christina's got some really awesome setups out there with her stuff. So, yep, just needs to be one that's easily cleaned. So, yep. Prevent getting mate. Let's see. So I'll keep a really close eye on all of my animals, since I'm fortunate, because, well, the question is, for those of you guys that can't read that, so you're talking about finding mites again, deep cleaning, getting all that stuff done, and how do we prevent getting mites from doing outreach shows? Well, I pay really close attention to every one of my animals for a good week or two before I end up taking them out anywhere. I want to make sure that they're not, going into shed, might be a little bit grumpy or something. Always really close inspections for mites, which is a lot easier when my bigger snakes, because they're on paper. So, if they've got anything wrong with them, it sticks out like a sore thumb. But I've had 2 cases of mites. One, when I first brought my berm back, he was completely covered in them. And it didn't take but, like a week or two with the pest strips to get him cleared up. And then his first shed, and he'd been clean ever since then. But here about 6-7 months ago, I'd seen a couple on him. And as soon as I saw those, I threw the pest strips back in, took care of them. I won't take anything out here to anywhere else if it's been, a month or two. I mean, it's got to be longer than a month or two since I'd seen anything, because I want to make sure before anything goes out, interacts with anybody, that if there was something, there's months in there between the last egg sighting, and all those treatments had plenty of time to work and stuff like that. And it might happen. It's just, anytime you add a new animal to your collection, it can be from the best breeder in the world. Sometimes you might get one, and they're not hard to get rid of, but you just got to give it enough time for it to cycle through everything. And I've never brought one of my animals back and seen any mites or anything. Like I said, Christine's out there, Jessica's out there, Cody and Aubrey, Chris Salisbury comes out. All these folks are on point, man. They're really, really good keepers, really responsible folks. And I trust their judgment. They're not going to bring anything that's sick or infested or nothing like that out. So, yep. Yeah, Christina makes a couple good points about keeping them quarantined in separate rooms whenever possible, and using separate feeding tongs and stuff like that. Don't mix and match any of the equipment that you're using on the snakes. So. Hey, Derek, how you doing? Oh, any suggestions on getting a ball python back on food who's been off for months? Offer it food until it takes it. That's what I do. Both my ball pythons have been refusing forever. All my animals eat frozen thawed. I never get them refusing on that basis. They all have their periods of time where they slam food, and then they've got their times where they're just like, I'm not interested. So I offer. If they don't eat, it either goes to another snake or it goes to the monitor lizard, and then I keep offering until they eat. A lot of the pythons, man, they can go a long time, and do oftentimes. My male retic, the 16-footer, I mean, he's went 6 months between meals before, and didn't affect him. Perfect health, body didn't suffer at all, and he just, whenever he was ready to start eating again, he'd start eating. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, talking about king snakes being escape artists, that they are. You got to keep them. They will get through anything. It was crazy, man. Even my mangrove monitor, when I had him, I mean, he was young, of course, but I drilled a hole in the back of the enclosure big enough to stick an electrical plug through for the heating element, and he got out through that little hole. He spent a week in my closet before I found him, little turd. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, some people use bleach. If you are going to use bleach, and you can use bleach, but you've got to make sure that you clean that stuff really, really well after using it. And make sure that there's none of them fumes and stuff still in the enclosure when you put them in. So just like they was saying, if you're going to bleach it, clean the enclosure down with like Dawn dish soap or something afterwards. I got a spray bottle with the Listerine in it. It's an antiseptic. That has worked really well for me. So, and I like the Listerine more because bleach is chlorine. I don't want to have chlorine in there with the snakes, so I use the Listerine. The Listerine, you can take a swig of that stuff, you're fine. The bleach, you take a swig of that, you're going to have a bad day. Yeah, Fago hit the nail on the head. They can go over a year, so you got time. They'll eat when they get hungry. And see, that's one of the things too, man, with the you get that stuff especially from folks that feed live. They're like, oh, my snake refused frozen thawed twice. They're not going to eat frozen thawed, so I've got to feed them live. So once you like, if you've got an animal that's been on frozen thawed and they go off food for a while naturally, and then you get worried about it, so you throw something live in there, it's no longer mealtime. It's like a self-defense situation. There's something in there that they need to take care of. And I've seen entirely too many snakes get entirely too many injuries from live prey. It's the rare occasion where you actually have to have something live in order to get a snake to eat. But a lot of people do it because it's easier for them. They get their supplier might give them live rodents or something like that. They're not going to go through the whole process of euthanizing them or anything like that. So you just throw them in there live. And you get some people that'll say they've fed live for 20 years, never had a problem. That's cool. There's other people that have fed live and it's killed their snake. So I always err on the side of caution with my guys. Let's see. Let me see. I'm not going to do it. I know everybody saw it. They're not poisonous. They're venomous. If you bite it and you die, it's poisonous. Poison's ingested. If it bites you and injects you with venom, then it's venomous. It's a snake. So say that around too many places, you get chastised for it. Yeah. A lot of mine have been kind of sporadic in eating. So, let's see. Kind of know with the new animal. But how do you know it's time to do a vet check due to not eating? Just like anything else, not eating, and this kind of ties in a lot too, I think, with like how do you recognize a respiratory infection? I always look for more than one symptom for stuff. Lack of appetite can be a result of a sickness of some sort. Just like sneezing in a snake can be a symptom of a respiratory infection. But like with my retics, it's also a symptom of getting ready to shed, because a lot of times I'll sneeze, loosening scales or out of nostrils and stuff. Or you could be like Chloe over here and want to get out of the enclosure 24/7. So she has been burrowing around in her dirt like a hog nose and has got a little bit of dirt in her mouth. That's one of the things I don't like about having substrate in there, is when they decide they want to get out and they want to start trying to. But anyway, if you see that the animal's actually physically starting to lose weight, then you may have a problem. I watched, like, for the whole 6 months that Tigger was off food, I kept a close eye on him, and I didn't notice any changes to his body mass, oddly enough. These animals they've evolved to go extended periods of time without food. Their metabolism is completely backwards to ours. So it's and like with Bob too, I knew his issue was he wasn't used to being handled, new environment, all that other stuff. And I knew it wasn't because of an illness or anything, because every time I try to offer him food, he'd strike at it. He was just terrified of everything. So because of his energy level and all that, and him moving around and refusing to eat, over that 5 months it took me to get him eating on his own, I force fed him twice. By the time that third time rolled around, I offered it to him and he instantly nailed it. And he's like, okay, dude, I've had enough. You're not forcing any more food down my neck. I got this. And ever since then, he's been great. He just slams everything that I put in there. Yeah. Let's see. And that's cool to see too. None of her wild snakes had ever refused frozen thawed. That's good. Yeah. She was asking if I had any recommendation for frozen feeders. I go through Rodent Pro. They've always done right by me, man. They send it out and it's fairly reasonable priced. It's not as good as the rodent breeder that I had out here, but yeah, they're really good. One thing to do too, and I always recommend this to people, if you can find a show rabbit breeder close to you, then it's a really good person to make friends with. I've got a friend of mine out here that breeds show rabbits. She does a lot of culling, and I can get rabbits from, large mouse size all the way up to 9 pounds. So I can literally feed every animal in my house rabbits, except the little baby hognose, because they're still too big for him. But I've even got rabbits that are a reasonable size for my little male ball python. Yep. Oh yeah, man. Listerine's good stuff. I use the hell out of it, because especially keeping monitor lizards, when you get them out and you start getting them scratches and stuff like that, as soon as I get done and I put him back in the enclosure, I'm hosing my arms down with Listerine and just. Of course, I just corrected Mama. Because I knew somebody was going to. I might as well went ahead and jumped on that. Let's see. Yeah, Rodent Pro, Cold Blooded Cafe, Lane Labs. Cool. I've never heard of Lane Labs. I don't know exactly what they do. Then see, here's another one. Their berm hadn't eaten for 6 months. Is moving okay. Recently became more lethargic than normal. So they're going to the vet. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting over 6 months and stuff like that, and you're starting to see changes in them like that, then that's definitely something that you want to start calling the vet about. Yeah. What's she doing? She's still sleeping up there. But I know you guys hadn't seen Bob for a while. I was thinking about making an update video on him. I think I'll go ahead and bring him out. This is another one that I hear people use all the time is the F10. There's another one, chlorhexidine. Is another good cleaning solution. Okay. Cool. We're all caught up. I'm going to go get Bob out. Keep your ear open, too, because he's in his water bowl right now, and I'm fairly certain he's going to yell at me for going to get him. Hey, bud. Wake up for me. Wake up. I know. Come on, fuck, bud. Here, go ahead and yell at everybody really quick. You know I wouldn't have gotten you out and disturbed you if we wasn't on here. Yell at them. Don't yell at me. Come on. Are you going to chill out that quick for me? Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, there's a really good series we did on him. Because when I first got him, he wanted to kill any person that he saw. Absolutely terrified. Flailing, musking. He would bite me about 20 times per video. And then, of course, he would attack the microphone, too. All that stuff. But took 10 handling sessions. We've got them all in a series. And you can see how we got him to this point right here. And he's still a little grumpy about getting messed with when I first go in there. But he's doing good. And when I got him, he was, again, like I said, it took him about 5 months before he would eat on his own. Every time I'd offer him food, he'd just strike at it. Felt so bad for him. But really? What you doing? Here. Get up there and warm yourself up. And the only snake that's ever bitten me in the face was him. And he did it on a live stream. So never know if he's feeling nostalgic. Maybe he'll do it again. Let's see if he's afraid of my coffee cup or not. Asking how old he is. I'm actually not sure. So that is really, dude. Come on, easy on the neck, man. It's one of the bad things about a lot of the animals that I've taken in is I don't have an exact history on them. So if I had to guess, I would say he's probably between a year and 2 years old, something like that. But there again, too, Sri Lankans aren't something that you see too many of. And I'm not 100% sure how big he's supposed to get. I'm guessing, based on some things that I've been told, is like 6-7 feet, something like that for a male Sri Lankan. So there you go. Are you going to get situated to where you can quit squeezing now? And I was just having this discussion with somebody the other day too. Even these small snakes like this, I mean, he's wrapped all the way around my neck. If he decided to start squeezing and I didn't take him off of there, there's a good chance I could go out. And if he didn't let go before I woke up, then I may not wake up again. So even small snakes can be a concern. Yeah, keep an eye on them. Yeah, he stopped going after the mic entirely, which I was pretty happy about. Yeah, Rodent Pros, definitely good. Yeah, and when you go out, you can start looking online for just look up rabbit breeders or show rabbits, stuff like that. If there's like a 4-H or something around. And when I first started asking around, I was a little bit leery because I was like, you're calling these people that are breeding show rabbits asking if you can feed them to your snakes. But did you really? I think you did. I think he decided to poo a minute ago, and I just missed it. I hope you feel better. But yeah, I was kind of hesitant about asking them at first. But I mean, they cull as part of their regular process there, and I would venture to guess most of them probably put them in the freezer. Maybe some people bury them or dispose of them or something. But yeah, you shouldn't have a hard time finding them. Oh yeah, he is definitely an awesome looking animal, that's for sure. Get that down. He's cozy now. That's one thing I really love to see about this guy is how much his demeanor's changed. It's friggin' day and night. And yeah, Sri Lankans are pretty rare. I had heard recently somebody had a clutch. That's not something you hear about. When I got him, I was told there was only about 20 of them in the country. And the background on the Sri Lankans is they were considered like locality Indian rock pythons, and they had been reclassified and given their own species now of just Sri Lankan python. Yeah. I ain't doing no damn jiu-jitsu anytime soon. I can't parallel park for a week, 2 weeks after I start training again. Last time I trained for a little while, my neck locked up on me so hard I couldn't even turn my head. It takes like at least 2 or 3 weeks to even get back into the swing of things. Oh, hey, Michael. How you doing, buddy? Nameless. Good to see ya. Hey, Judd. What was that? I mean, he's talking about... I've heard a lot of good things about Cold Blooded Cafe, too. I need to order from them one time just so that I can... just so I can see what they're like. Granddaughter. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, every single time I go over to my rabbit breeder's house, I walk out of there with it. Typically, it's at least one full feed bag full of rabbits, and it'll fill the freezer right up. Hey, Havocs. That is a Sri Lankan around my neck. How you doing? This is Silent Bob on my neck, formerly known as the crazy little snake that hates everybody. Oh, how often would I feed a year and 3-month-old retic? Every 7 to 10 days. All of my smaller snakes, all of my younger ones, I feed them weekly. As long as it's between 7 to 10 days, kind of decide depending on how big of a meal they get and stuff like that. But feed them weekly, and then as they grow up, I like to, like with my bigger snakes, I just increase the size of the meal and decrease the duration or decrease the frequency that I feed. Any videos? Have I thought of any videos on my exotic mammals? I need to start doing more prairie dog videos because of all of the videos that I've got on here, the prairie dog videos are the ones that are always the most popular. There's a lot more prairie dog people than there are snake people. What do you got to say? Come on. If you want to interrupt me, just speak up. What? Now you're going to get all quiet. This snake is so funny. He still tries to make noise and push his weight around. But yeah, I can just always say his neck hurts showering. It's been years since I grappled, but I remember a buddy of mine opened up a school, and I went back in and started training with him for a little while, and it just all that bridging off your neck, man, it hurts so bad for the first couple of weeks. And even when I go back and start doing heavy bag work again, it takes me a good month before I can, at least get back up to doing like 12 solid rounds. Of course, I'm 50 years old and I shouldn't have to worry about that stuff anymore. What are you doing? Get up there. Yeah, I think Mother Nature just assumes that by the time you get 50, 60 years old, you don't have to fight anymore because you're smart enough to avoid them. What are you doing, bud? Come on, give me my hand back. You're such a goober. Quit that. Hey, I thought that was you coming in kind of late. I couldn't remember whether I said hello to you earlier or not. Oh, yeah. Gotta say something about the poisonous snake comment. I would be remiss if I didn't. Hey, Gator. Hello. Gator said he's new to the channel and he's got a 14-foot rock python. It's puppy dog tame. Only eat guinea pigs. Well, welcome aboard. First of all, it's good to see you. And yeah, that's a really good testament there, having a 14-foot puppy dog tame rock python, because they're known for having such a bad attitude. I really like being able to get animals that have got bad reputations and get them down to where you can handle them without having to fight, stuff like that. That's what one of the things I really like about Niles is because a lot of times they get such a bad reputation, and we've got him pretty squared away. Jeez, you get the most questions. What species do we get the most questions about on the live streams? Oh no. Typically, I think we get more questions on retics because that's what we focus on mainly is bigger snakes and stuff like that. Let's see. Man, how did I get caught up on all the comments already? Woohoo, cool. So, I put this out on Facebook the other day too. I managed to get. Oh, come on, bud. Come on. Your brain needs blood. You can't be doing this. Yeah, you can probably see even this little snake right here is making my face turn red when he's deciding to get a grip on there. Just imagine what the 16-foot retic would do if he decided to snatch on there. He does. Well, these guys are so crazy because they'll sit there in their water forever, for like days and days on end. And then when they come out and they're like, oh, wait, this is warm, they'll start wrapping up just trying to get themselves warmed up. But I did put out one thing that I would like to start doing. This week, as things came to mind, I threw a couple different videos and stuff out there. And I'd like to start doing just some really quick, rapid fire stuff every day, every other day, something like that. It's really not too bad if I can find little quick topics that I can hit. And, you can get a video out in an hour with something like that. So, but we was talking about what the best forum might be to send the questions to, whether it be an email address or just jumping on Facebook and sending them out there. I know Instagram is probably, good God, bud. All right, stud. Somebody's trying to show off tonight. But, yeah, definitely Instagram's a no-go because my notifications on Instagram suck. Facebook Messenger wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I check my emails at least daily. But I would say that if you guys have got any topics or anything that you think might make good videos and stuff, then just shoot them to me on Messenger. I may be able to get to them. Of course, kind of depends on the schedule and stuff too, but the more direct questions and stuff, it just gives us more stuff to work with throughout the week. So, yeah, doing a relaxed wet noodle. He's such a good boy. Yeah, I need to get. The thing about the prairie dogs is Ruth is the one that has the really good relationship with both of them. I've got a pretty good relationship with the male. The female bites me every time I touch her. There is something, I'm not entirely sure what it was that went wrong between us, but I can go in there and I can scratch her butt through the bars and stuff like that, and she's fine for about 30 seconds. And then her mouth starts coming over towards me, and if I keep scratching, she bites me. And as soon as I pull away, man, she starts that Jackal from 13 Ghosts scratching and clawing at the bars and stuff. I mean, she will literally jump over there trying to rip my face off. So, but she's perfectly fine with Ruth. Ruth can handle her, pet her, all that stuff. She's fine. If I get anywhere near her, maybe she recognizes the smell of the snakes or something, and Maybe the male is just didn't pay any attention to it. But anyway. Oh. Oh, that's got a lot to do with it. Yeah, he was talking about his African rock python only being 18 inches long when he got him. That's good when you've got all that time to work with him. All right, Mom, get some sleep. I will talk with you later. Let's see. That's a good topic that I never really thought about. And I should have probably thought about it because one of my snakes is here because of a situation like that. So Christine was talking about doing one on living wills and making sure that your animals are cared for if something happens to you and you can't take care of them. So that's a good topic. I'll definitely file that one away for future. Let's see. But anyway, like I said, man, the big topic for tonight, if you can call it that, was simply just kind of rehashing what we was dealing with the guy that we're working with. And there was a couple people, I don't remember exactly who it was, so if you're in a chat, I just wanted to express my gratitude for being all up in the comments and kind of telling people to be nice when they decided to start saying you shouldn't have snakes, period, and all that stuff. What are you doing? Really? Yeah. See, he comes out of his cage hissing and yelling at me and all that stuff. And then he comes up, kisses me on the nose, and just sits here. So, yeah, right. You're such a good boy. You're a good boy. You can get your head up there. We always like to get a good close-up of you. You're such a pretty boy. There we go. I always just love the colors on their head, man. They're awesome. You good? You ready to eat tomorrow? It was really funny too, because on the live stream that I was on with Stan from Sea of Serpents the other night, I had the green tree python out, and he spent probably a half hour just hanging out, cruising around all over the place. And everybody was so freaked out because I think green tree pythons are so unhandleable. And yeah, this one back here, Ramsey's the male we've got. He's another one of the sweetest snakes you've ever seen. What are you doing? You ready to choke me out again, are you? Let's see. Later that video, DIY saber snake hooks. Yeah, I think some DIY snake hook stuff might be a good one to put out. Like I said, man, right after he sent me that, I spent a little while looking over it a few times and made mention of some of those things. One of the first things I mentioned was the snake hook had to change, and explained to him that the way that snake was reacting was probably a result of that prong jabbing into her side. And it was just something that he hadn't thought about. And he's like, oh, damn, and immediately went to change it. So that's a big plus, man. It's always good to see folks, being able to make their relationships with the animals a little bit better. I'm really looking forward to doing some more in-depth handling stuff with them. That'll be really cool. What did I do? What did I miss? Intrepid, oh, sorry. Yeah, sometimes I miss stuff. If I miss it, just somebody bring it to my attention. I'll go back. Do I keep anything other than snakes? Yes, I've got. See, we've got the 2 big retics. Got a couple smaller retics. I got an adult male berm, a Nile monitor, an Asian water monitor here, Argentine black and white tegu. Got some leopard and crested geckos. 1 rescue bearded dragon. And what else? Got other stuff. Well, I've got the snakes up here, of course. The green tree python, Sri Lankan here, the jagpondro that's sleeping up there. Maybe I'll get her out in a minute after I put him back. He seems pretty happy, though. So, don't you? You're just happy to be out, getting attention. Don't you? See, this is something that just, I love this. You know? This guy is such a success story. It's not even funny. He's sitting here scratching his head. He doesn't care. And this is a snake that would just as soon kill you as look at you a few months ago. Anyway, I got a boa imperator out there. We've got a hedgehog, 2 prairie dogs, 5 rats. What else? I don't know. That's pretty close to it. And we've just run out of room to keep anything else here. So when we finally do get moved, I want to add some more saltwater aquariums. I want to start getting back into those. I really miss my stingray and my porcupine pufferfish. Those were a lot of fun to keep. Yeah, that's a pretty good topic. Tegu brumation is so touch and go, though. That's some people will brumate them, some people won't. And long-term impacts, I haven't heard anything conclusive at all about the long-term impacts of not brumating versus brumating. So I'll have to do some research on stuff like that. As it stands now, everything that I've seen is it's really kind of subjective. The only important thing about brumating is making sure that they're not brumating with a full stomach, that you're not letting them go in and drop their temperature right after they eat, because they won't be able to digest that food and it'll rot in their gut. So you got to at least make sure they're awake for a couple weeks after a meal. And when you put them down, don't give them any food. So like the first year I had my tegu, she brumated. The next year she didn't. So right? You can have too many reptiles for the space that you have, but it's just like anything else, just like the more you make, the more you spend, the more room I've got, the more reptiles I'm going to have. So I want to make up a really good aquatic enclosure for a green anaconda at some point. I want to get some sailfin dragons. I absolutely love those. Really want to start picking up my colubrid count too. Yeah. Get corn snakes. Really get a bull snake in, false water cobra. So there's all kinds of different stuff that I'd like to get set up, but I just don't have room for it right now. So and nope, there's no updates on the move yet. We're still in a holding pattern, waiting on a couple things to happen. So hopefully it still happens this summer. We will see. I mean, it's one of those things where as soon as all of the chips fall into line here, I make things happen pretty quickly. So, yeah, I'm very patient about moving into things like that and take my time, make sure all the ducks are in a row. And then when it's time to do it, you do it, get it done, get it over with. So it'll be really chill, really relaxed while we're getting things sorted out. And then it'll be sheer chaos for a while when we move. Hey, Jenny, how you doing? Okay, man, I really appreciate that. Yeah, we've got a really good community here. We've got a lot of regular folks that hang out with us every Saturday. And are you ready to go home, or are you just going to sit up here the rest of the night? Yeah, it's growing. We're getting there. Kind of like my first big benchmark that I was looking forward to hitting is 10,000 subs, and we're at 9,040 something right now. So everything goes well. I mean, it doesn't take much either. I mean, you end up hitting one popular video or something like that, you can go up 1,000 subs in no time. So yeah, that was one of our benchmarks. The next one after that, of course, is 100,000. So that's going to require a lot more content getting put out, a lot more diversity of content, things like that. So we'll see. I'd like to start doing a little bit more collaboration stuff, getting some more people on here, because I know folks get tired of just listening to me sit here and bump my gums. But the whole Saturday Night Livestream thing kind of came around because my schedule was so up and down that I wasn't always able to get a video out, during the week. And I've got to at least get one a week out. I don't want to be going 2-3 weeks without putting any kind of content out. So I just made the commitment to start coming on Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern, every week. I don't care whether I got everything to talk about or nothing to talk about. Sick as a dog, doesn't matter. I plan on being here Saturdays at 8 every week, just to keep in contact with folks and stuff like that, and at least have something out there. Okay, I'm gonna put him out, and I guess I'll go get Lilith out of there, because I know there's some people in here probably haven't seen a Jagpondro yet. She's too unique to keep boxed up all the time. Hey, girl. What you doing, sweetness? What you doing? So for those of you guys that haven't seen Lilith, she is our special needs child. Recently adopted her. She's one of the most recent additions that we've got here. But she is a jaguar carpet python, green tree python hybrid, otherwise known as a Jagpondro. And she has the jaguar neurological issues that you may be familiar with, the jag retics and stuff like that. But she's got a little bit of wobble and control issues. She's got some muscle tone issues and stuff like that. But she is a really sweet animal. She's really healthy. And she's just a little bit jumpy when she first comes out, which is kind of sad too, because, so much arboreal snake in her. For her, it's like the back half of her body just has really limited muscle tone and strength to it. So when the front half of her body goes somewhere, the back half just flops, follows. She can still move it. She's got some control over it. But you'll see if she decides to jump off and start going someplace as soon as that back half of her body comes down there. Yep. See? So that's, and that's not the hybrid part. That's what that Jaguar gene does in her. So, but she's eaten. Otherwise, she's really healthy. She's never had any kind of defensiveness or, I mean, outside of, you can tell she's kind of nervous and stuff like that. She's kind of insecure, I guess. But, yeah, she's a sweet girl. Ain't ya? And she's been getting out a lot more too. So as soon as she gets out now, her energy level's been through the roof. And if she would give me a break so I can start scrolling down and check some comments, would you please? You want to chill or are you going to go home? Are you going to chill or are you going to go home? Come on. Let's see if she'll chill out a little bit. Let's see. Where we at? Oh, if I didn't miss you already, Christina, we'll see you later. Any plans on a group call anytime soon? That'd be a good idea. I mean, I guess we're probably getting pretty close to a reasonable size where we could do like a Zoom call or something like that. I mean, you guys just let me know. I'm going to continually be, looking for ideas on stuff to put out, but I'm more than happy to take suggestions from you guys. Anything that you think would be a good idea. Just like anything else, man. We may or may not do it, but it's if it's something that everybody thinks would be cool, then by all means, we can definitely do it. So, yeah, see, he's talking about the tegu brumation. Yeah, I mean that's really weird because like when we got our tegu, it went right down brumated, and this year just didn't want nothing to do with it. Oh yeah, pine snakes and false water cobras both. I love those. I've never kept collared lizards before. I guess did that one brumate this winter? I've kept all kinds of eels. Kept wolf eels, snowflake eels, black edge eels, ribbon eels, and there's a couple more too. A species of moray, and I don't remember which specific species it was, but I love my eels, man. They're awesome. The bad thing about eels is that they're friggin' all kamikazes, man. If you've got any chance at all that they're going to get out of the tank, they'll jump out of it. What are you doing, crazy? Would you stop being crazy? Come on. God. Come on, girl. There you go. You talk about a derp. You're a sweet girl, but God, you're derpy. Come on. Yeah, actually, the worst bite I've ever gotten from an animal is from a black edge eel that was about 2 feet long. I was sitting there working in the tank and stuff like that. It was like a 150-gallon tank, I think. And all of a sudden, he just got a wild hair up his ass, shot across the tank that way, and then fired himself out like a torpedo. And while I was trying to get him back into the tank, he got a hold of my thumb. And I got him back in there, but my entire living room floor was covered in blood. He just opened me wide open. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Jenny is, she started watching and hanging out with us. I think before you ever had any snakes, she finally got her first one. Welcome to the club, and you might as well just start moving your furniture out now, because after the first one, they just keep coming. Who do I have in mind to collaborate with? Anybody and everybody, like I say, on these Saturday night things, if somebody wants to come in, jump on, if they've got anything to put out and stuff like that, then, within reason, they're more than welcome to. We just had Kevin McCurley on a few weeks ago. I think we've had Garrett, Phil Goss, and Daniel from USARK Florida on. Always open to, bring them on for updates and stuff like that. Pretty much open to anybody. I think it'd be cool to have Clint on at some point, have a talk with him. And actually, Greg had talked with him a month or two ago about that, and he's open to it. But, it's just like anything else, man. Schedules are so crazy that it can be difficult to get things lined up. But another thing, too, is I'd like to start getting on other people's channels, because you can have somebody on a live stream here and that might only get 300, 400, 500 views or something like that, which really doesn't do justice to the guest that you've got on. If I've got somebody like Clint on, just Clint alone should be getting hundreds of thousands of views, because he's the guy is that cool with animals and that well educated about them, and he's got that big of a presence. So I don't know, it almost seems not really doing much for them by having a live stream or something with them on it that only gets a few hundred views, which of course is another reason why I'd like to get this thing built up some and really get some exposure on it, because there are some times where we're putting out really useful and really important stuff, and things that what are you doing? Things that everybody needs to hear, reptile legislation, things like that, being nice to each other, things like that. But yeah. Are you good? See, this is not a dumb snake. I mean, even with all the stuff that she's got going on, man, when she calms down, like I'll be standing over here by the window sometimes, and she'll come up to the glass and you can just see her kind of inching towards me like, hey, let's get out and do something. Get up here and look at everybody. Hey, Tara, you made it. How you doing? That's awesome. Yeah. They'll sometimes I think handling snakes is better than meditating. That's not a bad idea. May not actually be a bad idea, not just the difference between tegus and Asian water monitors. It'd just be kind of like the major classifications of lizards and what makes them different and stuff like that. Yeah, because we've got them, all the way from little crested geckos all the way up to, 6-foot Niles. So, and a couple different species in between. So that may be a pretty good one to put out. What are you doing? Crazy ass. Come on, girl. Please chill for a little bit. Come on. So the one thing about her that's a little bit different is really when you handle her, you've got to keep a lot. It's why it's really counterintuitive for me working with her, because you got to keep a firmer grip on them, and I'm not used to gripping my snakes when I handle them. She just needs more support. I'm used to letting them go pretty much wherever they want to, but with her, you really got to keep a tighter grip because her body will just start flopping all over the place. I can so relate to that sometimes. Let me go ahead and put her back, or else I'm going to be doing nothing but chasing her around the whole time. But I thought that you newer folks would get a kick out of her, man. She's really, really an awesome animal. Ain't ya? She's a pretty girl. She's a pretty girl. Ain't ya? Say, just because you're floppy doesn't mean you're stupid, right? Gorgeous girl. Am I crazy? Yeah, we've gotten really lucky to have picked up a couple pretty unique animals here. A friend of ours, Aubrey Pruitt, lives really close to here, and he has got his own thing that he does with breeding the retics and the monitor lizards. There's some really high-end stuff that he works with out there. But he also gets access to some other really unique animals. And he has contributed both the Jagpondro and the Sri Lankan does, so that we can use them for educational stuff just like this. And we're really grateful for that. Especially the, like I said, the Sri Lankan. That series helped so many people that were terrified of getting bit. Just having 10 episodes of watching me getting, punched and punched and punched by that snake like it's going out of style, and then seeing us work with him and calm him down and all that other stuff. So really cool in that respect. I should throw down. Let's see. Animals at home. I'll have to look that up. Have to look back through here, and or if you guys want to send me a link or something like that, that'd be cool too. I've never heard of them. I'll have to look them up. Just holding a good snake is therapeutic. It certainly is. And if you've got any kind of pent up aggression or anything like that, man, get you an 80-pound reticulated python, take it out in the yard for a little while. You'll be a lot more calm when you're done. Let's see. Let's talk about here. Yeah, jaguar and retics carpets, same as the spider and ball pythons, same neurological issues. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of specific research on the jaguar gene to know exactly what it is. My understanding with the spider gene is it's supposed to be something with the inner ear bones or something. Don't quote me on that. Definitely fact check it. But I think that's what the malformation is with that. It may be the same with the JAG gene. I'm not sure. It stands to reason. I mean, with the equilibrium issues and stuff like that. But it seems like there would be something else to it too, because there's the muscular tone issues and stuff as well with this one. So I don't know. I'll go check on him and see if he is, because I know he was pretty close to going into shed. I'll go check on him in just a second. If he's doing pretty good, I'll bring him out. I guess you're talking about Lilith here, the Jagpondro. I know she's an older snake. I think over 10 years old. Again, like I said, she's an adopted animal. I don't have an exact history on her, but I would say between 10 and 15 years old, something like that. All right, Gator, be safe this weekend. Good to meet you, man, for sure. Yep. You got room in your house. You need more snakes. Hey, Blitz, that's the first time I recognize this name. Good to see you, man. Welcome aboard. He was saying that his female retics were really feisty after he just got her, but after some weeks became the sweetest snake he ever knew. And I've handled a lot of snakes, even venomous. Cool. If those were your first retics, it probably was pretty noticeable. There is something about reticulated pythons that you're just not going to experience with any other kind of snake. Easily my favorite snake. Let's see. I'm going to ask about how. Okay, he's asking about that. Let's see. It was. I want to say it was 2 Saturdays ago that Kevin was on. I'll tell you the date in just a second. Streamed 3 weeks ago. So, like, if you go to the Intrepid homepage and then you go to live, because it'll have the home videos, shorts, all that other stuff, and you go to the live and it's like on the second row. Streamed 3 weeks ago was when we had him on, which was really cool because I've learned so much about handling from Kevin. I can back everything up that he says about handling and socialization, and because I would spend forever watching his old handling videos when I first got into retics, and then had the opportunity to use all of those skills against some really big, really nasty animals. Kevin McCurley has saved me from a lot of medical attention that I would have otherwise needed. So, yep. It was really good to finally get him on. And I'm sure we'll do it again at some point. That's one of the things that kind of motivated me on some of this stuff too, is, he did a live stream the other day just talking about how we need to help each other in a community instead of tearing each other apart. And, again, that just kind of reinforced that we need to focus on that more than we do, I think. Like I said, I'm a work in progress. I always have been. I've got no problem being really, really polite and really civil when it's a fact-based conversation. But as soon as somebody starts trying to insert misinformation or be dishonest about something, my patience starts to burn really quickly. And it's just a personality trait that I need to work on. And we'll get there. I do this YouTube stuff long enough, I might finally get socially acceptable. I really appreciate that, man. One thing that I point out, and this is the case with the guy that we was working with too, he's got another reticulated python that's just a puppy dog that he doesn't have any problems with. He's had this one for a month and has already had a bad experience with it and just threw him for a loop. I experienced the same thing. I had my first couple retics years ago, and when I got those, had the best experience with them. They were the best animals. And then I'd go and start working with somebody else's animal or start working with an F1 or a wild caught or something like that. And it is an entirely different realm of handling. A socialized reticulated python is probably one of the easiest snakes in the world to work with. They're just great. They're really intelligent. If you work with them, if you trust them, you're great. You ain't got nothing to worry about. A wild caught or one that's had a bad experiences with a human being, you're gonna have your hands full. It's completely the opposite of that. It's freaking a nightmare if you're not confident working with them. So like I said, man, somebody can keep snakes for 10 years and just get that one retic that has had a bad, that remembers bad experiences from people, that wants to fight or get defensive. Then it can make you feel like you're starting all the way back at square one with them. So Provo, Utah. Oh yeah. Well, Greg was just out there at his place a couple weeks ago. As a matter of fact, this I don't know if you're still on, but or not, but this is from Clint's place. Greg was saying that I keep talking about green anacondas, so he sent me the anaconda and a Clint T-shirt from there, and talked with Clint about collaborating on something and stuff. So, Clint's a wealth of information. I really enjoy his stuff. Really good guy. Oh yeah. You're in the right place. There's enough people on this channel where if you've got any questions, somebody's going to have the answer for you, especially once you get your first retic, which will happen at some point. Jenny was asking if she can ask a controversial question. The people that know me well know that controversial questions are not a problem for me. Put out a couple videos lately that have cost a couple subs, but again, like I said, truth is the truth. If you don't like it, we can't do nothing about that. But yeah, talking about Wiccan's Wicked Reptile saying that he kept those leopard geckos together in that enclosure. This is the thing that we always talk about learning and evolving in the hobby. We always talk about the old heads that, well, this is how I've done things for 20 years and you can't tell me any different. Well, a lot of people have been like, well, you can't cohab this species of animal, and they've done it for 20 years like that. You're not going to change your mind. But if you do something successfully, then it's successful. And then the evidence of its success is in the act of doing it. So if Adam has that size of enclosure with that kind of setup, and he's had 6 geckos in there living peacefully together for an extended period of time, that's evidence that you can cohab leopard geckos. So, I mean, like I said, doing it, that's you can't say it's wrong if it works. If our concern is the safety and health of the animals and stuff like that, and the safety and health of the animals is, if it's good. So, I think a lot of people overreacted with that. But see, that's the thing, man. And you can take some, just like the guy with the monitor lizard. They had the facial deformations. Some people didn't like the fact that he was selling it, didn't like the fact that he was selling it for a lot of money, made a meme about it. It went nuts. And then everybody started sharing it. And all people see is a deformed lizard. And they're like, oh my God, this guy's a piece of shit. Completely started ripping the guy apart. You could see the same kind of thing starting, man. It's like Adam Wickens is so respected in the community for all of the work that he's put into his channel and as far as he's grown and all that other stuff. And then all of a sudden, one person gets a case of the ass. They decide they want to make a meme, or they decide they want to, throw a little mud on somebody. And now all of a sudden you start seeing these videos coming out with, Adam Wickens, the freaking animal abuser, or whatever it is. I didn't even pay any attention to it because, Adam's a responsible keeper. He's a really intelligent guy, and he does pay attention to what's true. I've never seen Adam ever put anything out blatantly false or anything with bad intentions, you know? So, I mean, just like all of us, you know, we can all misspeak and make mistakes and all that stuff. None of us are perfect, but yeah, it kind of got under my skin to see people going after him. I'm like, really, guys? But anyway, I mean, to summarize that whole point there is, that's like I said, apparently that's evidence that you can cohab leopard geckos together under certain conditions. And he did. So, man, 3-year-old boa imperator. How big should it be? 3 years old. What do you think? 4 or 5 feet, maybe, for a 3-year-old? I mean, it's hard to say too, because, you know, some people, you know, slow grow them. Some people power feed them. How much they eat in their youth is going to impact how quickly they grow, of course. So it's hard to say. And I maybe, like I said, man, probably 4-ish feet, 5 feet, maybe a little bit more. The boa imperators aren't the largest of the boas by any stretch of the imagination anyway. So, okay, here you go. See, that's what I get. Yep. So it's right at about 4 feet. So, verify. Well, see, this is what I predict is going to happen, Jenny. Ball pythons are awesome. It's great to get used to kind of building your confidence working with a snake and stuff like that. I think you might at some point start looking for a little bit more interaction, and then you're going to start thinking, you're going to be like, man, these retics are kind of cool. And then you're going to get a retic, and you're going to start seeing the difference in the interaction between those two species, and you'll be hooked like the rest of us. So. That's cool, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're just gonna, you know, one thing that I try and do on here that's a little bit different is, I mean, I know I'm not always all that freaking entertaining. I'm not much of an actor, you know. I'm not Jay. I'm not gonna run around the screen screaming and stuff like that and making my animals bite me. But I just try and put out something that somebody's gonna find useful. Yeah. And as long as, you know, there's always somebody out there that's going to learn something off of every video, then it was a success, whether it gets 100 views or 1 million views. Yeah. I do keep up with the other stuff that's out there, and it would be cool to see this channel grow, because there's not a lot of people out there that take the same approach that I do. So that's why I'm sticking with it. And I think it's, given enough time, we don't have a whole lot to work with right now. Don't have a really big collection or a really big place, which means we're not building a whole lot of enclosures and stuff. So everything's kind of minimalistic right here. We actually do a lot with not a lot, if that makes sense. When like the plans that we're talking about as things move forward, I think are really going to make a big impact. I think it's really going to be a lot of fun over the course of the next year or two. Let's see. Yeah, I thought about getting a blood python just to have them there to show. Bloods kind of remind me of a really big ball python with a bad attitude. But again, blood pythons are known for being nippy, so maybe that'll be a good opportunity to have one of those on hand just to break through that stereotype too, and work with them until they get nice and chill and trustworthy and all that stuff. So Hey, George, how you doing, buddy? What we got? Okay, can't be paying attention to everything all at once. Where we at? I take yours pretty well. I'm just trying to catch up with the comments here really quick. For those of you guys that don't hang out all the time, if I have any moments where I just kind of look like I'm going off into the ozone, I just try and read through the comments and pick out the stuff that's an actual question that's not a conversation between 2 or 3 people in the chat already. So, which means I got to kind of speed read a little bit through some of this stuff. Because otherwise I would never get caught up on the comments if I read through every one of them word for word. Let's see, here's one. As far as remember, Adam did not say to Cohab, if you do not know what you're doing, it's not like he was... Exactly. And that's exactly what he said in other videos when he came out. And he's like, look, guys, you know, I said this is what works for me under those circumstances. And, you know, don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. And, yeah, all he said is, you know what? Maybe I should have been a little bit more clear, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm guilty of the same thing. I just put a video out on Facebook the other day of going into, matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up because it's been getting a lot of attention. Let me see if I can find this real quick. And instead of talking through it, I'm just going to show you the video that I'm talking about. Where's that? And it's not very far down here, but a lot of people have been really getting a kick out of it. Come on, snake. There we go. Here. Around and stuff. Let's get this. All right, so this is kind of analogous to the Adam Wickens thing, and I'll show you why as soon as I can share this screen, because there. I guess there's no need to share the audio with it, but okay. So those of you guys that follow my retic handling stuff, you know, we're always talking about reticulated pythons, snake hooks, and tap training and all that stuff. This is a female lavender mainland reticulated python named Chloe, who is a rescue. And this was one of the interactions that we had. Yeah, and this is one of the things that we talk about when we're like, okay, you need to throw disclaimers out there, because if everybody goes in and they try and tap in with their snake and get them to come out like that, then everybody's going to end up getting bit and going to get a food response bite and wrap and all that stuff. But every animal's different, you know. There's times when I will go in with the hook with her, but I'm actually finding myself a lot more often than not with the smaller snakes, just going in kind of flat-handed in the enclosure, just like I did when I went to get Lilith out earlier. You know, I didn't get a snake hook out. I just kind of run my hand flat across the enclosure, started making contact with her, and then as soon as she realized it was my hand and started to move, I'd pull her out. You know, that was kind of a conversation that Kevin and I had over the Sri Lankan, because I'd asked him a couple questions. I was like, dude, can you think of anything else that I can be doing to make the interactions going in on him a little bit smoother? And he said, no. He's like, about the only other thing that I do is, you know, I'll go in flat-handed across the enclosure and approach him like that. which made sense. And I started doing that, and it worked really well. So like I said, man, with my smaller snakes, I don't sweat the hook a whole lot. There's something to be said for training them at a young age so that when they get bigger, they're familiar with that. But I don't know. It's just like anything else, man. It's subjective at times. Different animals are going to react differently, and you can't make hard, fast rules because there's so many variables. It's the snake's behavior, how you interact with them, how long you've had them, what your skill is, how well you can read their behavior, how confident you are that, okay, this is thinking mode, this isn't food mode, type stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of gray areas, but you know, we try and hit some kind of uniformity and handling and stuff like that, just to make it easier for people. But the longer you work with them, the better a feeling you'll get for them, and you'll be able to tell which ones you can take liberties with and which ones you can't. So, oh, hey man, thank you very much, appreciate it. Like I said, you guys got any suggestions or anything? I am on Facebook. You can find the Facebook link on the YouTube channel. And matter of fact, it should still be there. Let's see. Where's the links at? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Patreon link is there. USARK, my Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, Facebook's the best place to catch me. If you guys got any suggestions for videos and stuff like that, man, by all means, throw me a request on Facebook. And, you know, just like any other creator, man, we're all jonesing for ideas constantly. Because after 2 years about making videos about handling snakes, I can't think of any topics that I've really not breached yet. So we kind of get to the point of remaking old content, which isn't bad because, you know, your comfort level in front of the camera and all that stuff changes, and the way you can articulate it changes over the years. So going back and remaking old videos is a good thing sometimes. Yeah. You get a little bit more effective at communicating this stuff. So, oh, that's cool. I mean, that's the goal. I mean, we get messages from a lot of folks talking about how their relationships with their animals are so much better because of the work that we've done with them and all that stuff. So, you know, even the videos going out, we get a lot of folks kind of on the down low saying, man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just got one yesterday from somebody that I had worked with a year ago, I think, with retic, and just kind of out of the blue said, you know, thank you so much. This last year has been great. The snake is awesome to work with and stuff, and everything's improved so much just from watching this stuff and taking these little cues and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's the whole goal. I just want to see people having better experiences with them and just keep the hobby spreading, get more people involved with them. I think it's great. Question about tegu food. What you got? I've seen people cohab bearded dragons. My official stance on cohabbing is I don't know. I'm never going to want to be responsible for saying that certain animals can cohabitate and somebody do it and somebody lose an animal, because it's possible. I've put reticulated pythons in for breeding before and seen the female just turn around and slaughter the male. And same thing will happen with monitor lizards sometimes. So the only ones that I cohab are my rough scale green snakes. And, they're just really small colubrids, little insect eaters. And even one time, one of them, this is funny as hell, and I wish I would have had this on camera. They both went to strike at the same cricket, one a split second behind the other one. The one gets the cricket in the mouth, the one gets the other snake and the cricket in its mouth. And I noticed it because I seen them both move really quick to strike, and then I seen the other tail flopping over here. And I went in and looked, and the guy had like this, most of the other snake's head in its mouth. And as soon as I touched it, it let go and went off and found another cricket. But that was harmless, didn't hurt any of them. But it just goes to show accidents can happen. And accidents can kill an animal. So I don't cohab anything other than them. And it's the rarest of occasion where I've ever got any of my two snakes out at the same time. Jay can get away with having all of his 30 friggin' snakes falling down on his head and stuff like that. And it could be perfectly fine, but I'm just overprotective, an overprotective dad with my animals. So yeah, I will not make recommendations to anybody on whether to cohab or not. All I will say is that I err on the side of caution, and I do not. So, and yeah, Jenny's been keeping up with Chloe. I know she does, man. She's just, that snake she is a trip. And like I said, she's always, 4 or 5 feet away from me. And I open up the door and she just comes and hangs out all the time. And she'll get over here and she'll come straight over to my face and just sit there. She's the sweetest girl. For those of you guys that don't know the story for Chloe, the little reticulated python I just showed you the video of, I just got somebody sent me a message saying they knew somebody had a retic that needed a home. So I went out to get her. She was in a fish tank in a hide too small for her with no heat, no water, in the wintertime, in an empty roach infested house. And went over and I reached in. Like as soon as I saw her, I opened up the enclosure. And no hook, no nothing. I just reached right in, grabbed her out, and she crawled right up and set her head right here. And just sat there the whole time, didn't move. She was just sitting there soaking up the heat off my chest. And I kept her there and let her warm up. We got her home. We got her quarantined, got her hydrated, and got her through her first shed. Everything was great. And I've just got that snake, and I have a bond because of that. She's sweet as hell. And she's always trying to get out over here. But I am really looking forward to her getting 16, 18 feet long and being able to use her as an ambassador animal, where people can see just how awesome these guys can be. Take videos. Yeah, it's talking about doing boa videos similar to the larger constraint. Well, see, this is the thing. And I could, and I should. I need to start, like when I first started the channel, one of the things that I had in my head that I was going to do was a complete series on every species that I kept. And I did the Nile Monitor series, and I did the Reticulated Python series. And then I just kind of stopped doing series. Because, when you look at it, and, Kevin McCurley makes a point of saying this every time somebody says, how do I handle my, I've watched all your stuff on reticulated pythons. How do I handle my ball python? How do I handle my boa? How do I handle my green tree python? And it's the answer to that question is that it's all the same. Every snake is going to have a little bit different nuances and stuff like that. Really, really different stuff. I mean, really subtle stuff. Yeah, just like boas. they tend to be essed up a little bit more sometimes, but handling with them and the tap training and the keeping them secure and, all of this stuff and reading their behavior is all pretty much exactly the same as any other snake with just really subtle differences. So the problem is with putting out stuff species specific like that, it seems like it's really repetitive. Because essentially it's going to be exactly the same video with a different snake in my hand. So, which is why in a lot of my handling videos and stuff, I try to, switch up and show different species. I have the green tree out, and the Burmese, and retic, and the carpet python, stuff like that, and just kind of switch it up with some of those things. But yeah, I need to get more stuff out about, boas and the green trees and stuff, for sure. For sure. And then bow out 2 to 3 hours a day. The only, I don't see anything wrong with free roaming as long as they're safe. Couple considerations. If you're free roaming outdoors, make sure you keep an eye on them because birds of prey will pick them up out of your yard. We just talked about that. I don't know whether it was last weekend or the weekend before. They all kind of run together, but the lady that was out cutting her grass and had the snake fall in her arm, and then the hawk came down to get it, because hawks will come down and grab your snake. As far as free roaming them indoors, the only thing to really take into consideration is the temperature. If you're like me and you like your house to be at like 69 degrees, you want to kind of limit the time that you've got your snake out away from their heat source, because you don't want them getting sick. You don't want to interrupt their digestion, stuff like that. And especially if they've already sick or might have an RI or something like that. You definitely want to keep their temperatures up. So free roaming them at those times isn't really recommended. They need to be sitting there basking with the elevated temperature so that they can heal. But as far as the rest of it goes, mine, I'll go over here and open up the door and just let her kind of roam around and stuff like that, and she'll sit out for a while. But of course, the office back here, of course, is like 10 degrees hotter than the rest of the house too. So I got this gaming PC that I made, and it's it's like having a furnace on my desk. Like when I've got anything that's really graphically intensive working on a computer, it's like a blast furnace in my face because it's a pretty good computer. But man, it gets hot. I probably missed something here. Yeah, it looks like I missed a question somewhere. Yeah, it's talking about feeding the tegus greens, blackberries, eggs, chicken, whitefish, hornworms, roaches. Yep. A couple of the things that I'd add to that. What that was saying is, I'll feed mine shrimp and fish. Not chicken very often, but they do love eggs, love quail eggs, and blueberries. And I don't remember. Every now and then I'll try something different, like watermelon and stuff like that. But the one thing that she really goes nuts over is quail eggs, because they're nest raiders. And you throw 4 or 5 quail eggs in there and they'll be gone in no time. Oh, and I'm just now seeing this. So yeah, about the same. We already hit it. Cool. All right, Brandon. We'll see you, buddy. Oh, man, we made it to the end of the comments and stuff, too. And is it really? See, I started this with thinking might have 15, 20 minutes worth of stuff to talk about, and it's been 2.5 hours. So, you guys rock. I didn't even realize it's been 2.5 hours either. Time flies. And we still got 29 folks hanging out. So let's see. Yeah, and that's cool too. Yeah, if you keep the curtains open and keep the sun coming in, they'll love that stuff. But oh, let's see. Let's see. What's this? Bird's prayer, not shy. Oldest son was raking the backyard. Yep. Yeah, I've been like out in the woods in the middle of the night, just kind of laying down, looking at the stars on the ground, looking up at the stars. And I've had huge owl one time just float right over top of me. It was maybe 4 feet away from me or something like that. It was just the coolest thing. Big ass owl, easy 5-foot wingspan, 4 or 5 foot, something like that. And it was just the coolest thing. Completely silent. The shadow just. That was one of my favorite things to do in Bosnia. Is I'd go up in the towers and stuff at night and just watch the owls hunting in the fields at night. Oh, let's see. Anyone do turtles? I know Jessica does. She's probably off by now. I haven't seen her pipe up in a while. I know Jessica does turtles. I don't have any. But at some point, again, when we get a little bit bigger place, I would like to get some Aldabra tortoises and get a nice, cool setup with them. Because those things are always such a hit at our shows and stuff like that. Aubrey and Cody have both got Aldabras, and they will bring them things out, 200-pound tortoises and stuff, and the kids just eat that up. They're really cool. Yeah, I haven't seen any of his stuff in a while. I do remember seeing something with him having some birds at some point, but yeah, guys, like I said, go ahead and if you're not subscribed to the channel, jump on there. It'd be really nice if we could hurry up and get over this 10K subscriber mark so that I can just quit paying attention to it until we get up to 100K. But it all helps, man. And again, if you guys got any like 5-10 minute video ideas or something like that, jump on Facebook, send it to me on Messenger, and send a friend request on there, or whatever the case may be. And we'll see about getting some of that stuff on. And it's been over 2.5 hours. So I'm going to jump off of here and get myself ready to feed tomorrow. So anything I don't think there's anything I forgot. Gabriel says, "Come one of your favorite reptiles." That's awesome, man. You guys, like I said, I mean, if there's anything that you guys want to see that you think will make the channel better, that you'll think of make it grow better. I know my blatant references to politics sometimes doesn't help it to grow, but we're in kind of a pivotal year right now. A lot of bad things can happen in a pretty short period of time. So, and it's all based in fact and evidence. It's like my last words of everything that I forget to talk about now is, don't fall for the misinformation, pay attention, fact check stuff, make sure it's true before you jump on board and build opinions about it and things like that. That stuff's really important, especially now. So, let's see. Might have said this already, but any plans to have an update with the illegal reptile? Yeah, it was kind of a joke about the illegal alien because it was a Mexican spiny tail that had jumped in a truck and snuck its way into Iredell County, North Carolina. So kind of tongue in cheek there. It's not actually illegal to own. It was the I guess animal control or something like that actually contacted her about taking care of it. But yeah, her and I talked about that. And we'll see. That's her project, and she has got a YouTube channel as well. So she may put all of that stuff on hers. And if she does, I'll help her with that and everything like that. Support her 100%. So that may be what ends up happening over there. So what we'll do with that one is we'll just direct you guys over to her channel, and you can check the stuff out there. And she's, of course, welcome to come on here and talk about it anytime she wants to. But yeah, we'll do all of this stuff again next Saturday, and I'll see how tomorrow goes. I may try and get another video out and stuff like that before the weekend's over, because it gets kind of tough to do sometimes during the week. But let's see. Let me see. I'll tell you what, man. After I put this video out, because when I log off of here, I'll go into the description on the video and add a link to Jessica's Carolina Reptile Center channel, so you guys will have it there. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. So you guys have an awesome rest of the weekend, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.